y'all. Ray J talking about sleepovers, and Keri Hilson finally set the record straight. And Michelle, she is not having it, and she about to set those rumors straight. All this and more on Another Mother episode 14.
When a fight until they see somebody fine and they see. When a fight until they see somebody fine and they see. What do they say? She will say coffee, tea, or me. Coffee, tea, or me. Coffee, tea, or me. Coffee, tea, or me. Coffee, tea, or she. Coffee, tea, or she. Coffee, tea, or she. Get up and do the dance with me.
Now get your coffee, get your tea, get your life. I am Lisa Renee, the host, and my co-host is
the big, the black, the marvelous, It Wild.
And
Wild.
And
Wild.
Weezy. And we
Still following the YouTube rules, but I gotta get it off.
Ooh, y'all, I'm rocking my fur move glasses. Y'all see them bows? Y'all see them bows? Go ahead and get your glasses. You can see my little description code in the description, my referral link. Get your glasses. Anyway, you guys, let's get into it. We got so much to talk about. Let's start with Ray J. Did you hear the phone call? What was that about?
Why are we starting with Ray?
He's like, I want to take showers with you guys. I want to sleep over. I want to be in that bunk. I want to be in the bottom bunk. I want to be in the top bunk, the side bunk, the left bunk. Okay. Ray J is so hilarious to me. Oh my God. And I love Ray J from way back. Y'all can say what y'all want to say about his hits. And all day. Dun, 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 all night. Dun, 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 dun. I am a Ray J freaking fan. You hear me? But I sure that I want to sleep on that bunk. I want to shower. I mean, we can go and keep our clothes on. Yeah, dude, we can keep our clothes on. Come on, Ray J. We know you don't get down like that, but let me say this because I know I can see now you got a lot to say. And then he said Brandy is kind of, allegedly she's ashamed of him and how he's acting. And I know Brandy has always been more mindful of her brand. However, a lot of people like the Ray J's or the Rihannas of the world, meaning that these people are very authentic to who they are. And I think that's one thing I love about Ray J, because he'd do that I said I wouldn't do it. But I do respect a person who lives in their truth. And for me, for the most part, good, bad, or indifferent, Ray J has always lived in his truth. And he really didn't give a damn about Brandon. He wasn't raised without a mother or father. He had both of his parents. He had a great upbringing for what we know of. However, this is Ray J. And everybody doesn't come out cookie cutter. They don't. I'm a prime example. Me and my brother and sister, we're completely different. No, doesn't mean one of us are bad or worse or any less. We're just different. And that's where unconditional love comes in, where I love my brother and sister regardless of what. And I think he feels a little lonely. He feels like he's disappointed his parents and things like that, but he's just trying to be him. And now it's to the point where he's like, well, don't nobody care. So now I'm just going to go buck wild. So a little bit sad on that.
Yeah, well, shit. I mean, you put that spin on the game. I was,
Put your own spin. Come on. Put your own spin.
Well, no, so the first part of that, yeah, that's why I was laughing when you said
coffee in the morning. Coffee,
yeah, and that's
yeah.
It's all on some of that. You know
coffee, what I'm saying? Tea on me. Coffee, tea on me. Early morning, late nights. Ain't no auto-tune on my voice, honey. That's
Yeah,
me.
no, that's
Like against
real.
getting
That's real.
arrested and
She
fight.
should actually be louder on that part, to be honest about you. We was just talking about that. Like,
So she's
I know
without
I'm doing my thing
you.
and all. I am doing
You
my
should let
thing,
me
but
know if you switch your seat
yeah,
safety.
yeah, she kills that. So it was designed for her to like
Take
kill
that
that,
bad to the
you
back.
know?
Man,
Yeah.
turbulence with snow. Now tell your neighbor don't order 4 drinks, sir. Ooh. Coffee, tea, and me, y'all. Get our song. It is streaming now
It
on
is.
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everything.
Yep.
Or on butt links, every link, bra links, every link. It's everywhere. It's just everywhere. Pick it up. Okay, you got 99 cents up. I say, do you got 99 cents up? We
Yeah.
need this money to put on our show in July called Buckle Your Seatbelts. Okay, get your tickets. It's alive right now. But all seriously, guys, we did open up with our new release. We're so excited called Coffee, Tea, or Me. And this song directly ties into our show that's coming up in Las Vegas on July the 26th. If you guys haven't heard about it, it's called
Word.
Buckle Your Mother Freaking Seatbelts.
Buckle your seatbelt.
It is a musical comedy showdown you don't want to miss. If you cannot come to Vegas, honey, we done figured it out. You can live stream, have a
Boom.
freaking watch party,
Yep.
show your
Yep.
reactions, tag
Yep.
us in it, and we will
Yep.
absolutely comment on it after the show. We will probably go live and talk to you guys, but we need that from you guys. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel or Aunt Wow's channel, the
Yep.
real
For
Aunt
sure.
Wow. It matters from an algorithm standpoint if you guys like. I say like and share. I say like and share this podcast. I say this podcast. Okay, I'm sorry. What were you saying about Ray J? Coffee, tea. Oh, look wait, we didn't give a damn about Ray. Hey, we said we gotta plug out this stuff. Hey, Ray J, if
Hey,
you see this,
listen.
we need you at
Hey.
the show, bro. We
Hey.
need you at the show, Ray J.
Hey.
Come up
Yeah.
on stage, be
Hey.
bold like you are. But I know you support the underdogs, Ray J. But what were you gonna say? You were gonna I put a different spin. Put the Aunt Weezy spin on it. Aunt Why?
Hey, yeah, but you took me somewhere else. Hey, look, now I want to talk all kind of like other shit. You know what I mean? You got me on some shit ready to, get on some creative shit around this thing. You got me on some of that hype. You feel me? I'm on some of that now. You got me all charged up. Pause. So right back at you. You feel me?
You're messing up my little Mac. Oh my God. I'm
You
sorry.
got me ready to go.
Coffee.
Pause.
Coffee for me.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
What we
so what I was saying about Ray J was
reel it back in, buddy. There's Ruya.
oh no, don't you dare. Don't you dare. You're the reason why I'm this trip in the first place. I was going in all on the Ray J. You started with the whole thing.
I caught put him back out there in the ocean. Okay.
Oh heck no. Oh heck no. It's just in this climate. With I wish I knew Ray J's whole entire name. What is it? Raymond James? I'm sorry, Ray J. I don't know I want to call you your brother name, your African name, your Zulu name, whatever your parents named you. I don't know what is it, Raymond? What Brandy? Norwood? What is Ray J's?
Yeah.
What is Ray J's real name?
California, all the way Carson, right?
Hey, listen. So William Ray Norwood Jr. That's right. His first name is William Ray Norwood Jr.
Yes.
Ray J, as we all know him. It was just in this climate. Here's all I can say. And, but in this climate where everything is so scrutinized, especially in that part of the industry, That's definitely a phone call that does not happen with regular cats. I mean, like I never have that phone call ever with grown men that I know who have that conversation. And that doesn't even mean anything. Because honestly, I can honestly say, as much as I'm saying how it sounds and just everything of that kind of conversation, all that, because all that is true, on some real, I don't think Ray J about that life, to be honest with you. So
Mm-mm.
that's the whole crazy part. Like, I don't know but I haven't had the honor of knowing him personally. I don't know. I haven't really heard his name in a lot of those kinds of things, but
Right.
hey, I don't know. I'm not in that circle. I'm in a different circle. You feel me? So I don't know. But Ray J has never struck me as anybody who would, and it is possible that maybe, that he's not. I'm actually leaning like, yeah, I don't even know if Ray J is like that, but it's just all I can say is that kind of conversation, like, hey man, I'm fortunate to have some of the best. I am a brother, a man who has really awesome, dope man compadres, my guys, my peoples. I have genuine relationships with my guys. We're never having that conversation ever. Like, it's never, yo,
Yeah.
man, I want to come over sleep over too. Like, hey man, what you doing this weekend? Oh, well, oh, y'all coming? Oh man, I'll come out. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
I want to come, and there's so much attention on the shower portion of it and clothes on, and there's just never that's never part of the conversation as far as planning to hang out. Like,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. Like, with
Yeah.
none of my guys. Like,
Yeah.
that's just never a part of the conversation. So it's a very it's just a it's there's just a lot swirling in that, because I don't know, is that I don't understand why that's just, but it's very interesting because, again, in most situations, there's just situations where you hear certain things and you think, and I'd be like, I don't know if I'm that surprised. I don't know if I believe everything, but and Ray J, since I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's never been something that struck me about him.
Mm-mm.
And it's just a weird, that this, it's a weird thing. But like you said, like, Ray J is always been him. I mean, he's people to address that real quick. The
Mm-hmm.
criticisms that has received
Mm-hmm.
throughout whatever decisions he's made, he has always been him.
Yes.
And in that portion of it, he hasn't really been a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't really been a bad guy. He's made mistakes, but Ray J hasn't really been a bad guy.
I
He hasn't
agree.
really been a menace to society and
I
really
agree.
hurting people. I say that, like, on some pop stuff. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
he hasn't really been that dude. So I don't know. It's just a very peculiar um conversation. It's a very
Yeah.
peculiar conversation.
It was. And you know what? If you think about it going way back, Ray J has always been very strategic with going viral. This really could have all been a setup for Ray J for a new product he has coming about, and he knows that K is really big right now. So it really could be just a strategic setup, or this is just me thinking, could it be some mentally that he's going through a lot and he just wants to be around the brothers and he doesn't give a damn which way. It's like, dude, let's go hang. I want to hang with the boys. I'm not married no more. I don't got my wife no more. You know what I mean? It could be any of that. But do I think he swing that way? Absolutely not. I think Ray J is being Ray J, and he's man enough to speak that. He stands in his act, man. No, Ray J is he
That's what
cool.
I'm saying.
And
So
even if
that
he
that
was, who gives a damn if he
no, no,
did?
no, and
Yeah,
that's my
we don't
point.
care. Yeah,
That's exactly my point.
yeah,
I'm talking about the optics of it and the fact that we're talking about it. We're talking about it because it's news, because
absolutely.
that's something we should. It's like,
I agree.
you knew it was going to be talked about in this way. So like you
That's
said,
very
it
true.
could just be him like, hey man, I'm just trying to hang out with the boys. That's a good, and maybe this is the talk. Maybe this is just how we talk. Like, I want to,
Absolutely.
because, again, there is a lot of that in his tone that is just saying, yeah, man, I ain't on none of that, man. I'm just saying, y'all over there doing that. I just want to do that too. What are we doing, like the
Ray J's
beach
like,
day or something? And okay, maybe that's just part of the hangout. That could very well be what he was saying. There's a lot
And
of
wasn't
validity
Kay
to that.
calling him Unc? Was Kay calling
Yeah,
him
but
Unc?
see, it's like,
I didn't
but
realize he was
see,
that much older than them because Ray J looks so young still.
yeah,
I think they were
yeah.
calling him Unc because he is probably much older than them. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
even the way he asked if he could call him Unc, it was just a
It was
little,
weird.
it
Yeah.
was an element of
But they
intimacy
all
there. That's
set
all
up.
I'm
I know
saying.
it
Like,
probably was a whole full. They probably all in it about to go talking about it. Something's coming with them
maybe
all.
that could be absolutely the case. They could be playing every single person. Actually, that would be
Absolutely.
that. Hey, listen, if you are willing to stand in a certain light, see, I probably wouldn't be, but if you are, I'm just being real, but I'm not downing it. If y'all saying, "Hey, man, look, Ray J, you gonna do it like this. This is the role we gonna play. This is
Yeah.
gonna go viral. X, Y, and Z, and from here we're gonna spin off." And if you're comfortable in that role, and if they are playing us, actually, kudos to them. To be honest with you,
Absolutely.
kudos to
Absolutely.
them. Straight up,
Absolutely. Guys,
kudos.
if you guys are just joining us, this is your very first time joining us. I'm Lisa Renee. This is the Real Aunt Wow. And we do Another Mother podcast. Hey, we do this every Friday
Hey,
morning. We want to get you laughing, get you hype as you head out to the weekend. We also just dropped our very first single called Coffee, Tea, or Me. It's on all, streaming platforms, as well as we have a one woman show, but I got all my featured friends and artists, Aunt Wow being one of the biggest ones, featured throughout the show, in our show called Buckle Your Seatbelts. And I say our show because he has been by my side every step of the way, as several people have. But, so we hope you get tickets. If you cannot come to Vegas to see the show, it will be live stream. Beyonce is performing that same weekend. She's performing on that Friday night. So if you come see
word,
Beyonce,
word,
you get 2 for 1 because we
right,
sing, dance, do all of that, as you guys have seen. If you haven't, go ahead
word.
and look at my channel. You will see several videos of Aunt Wow and us as well. And so, we just want to welcome you guys. We hope you subscribe. We hope you share, and we hope you like this video. So let's go to the next topic, guys. KeKe Palmer.
KeKe,
Um, KeKe, and you love you. I don't know the words with Drake will find you, and I want you. So say KeKe. Remember that dance everybody did, the little
hey,
KeKe
yeah, no,
back then?
that was Drake.
That was a
That was a
bop. Yeah,
slap.
Drake,
That was a
he
slap.
did it.
That
So
was a slap.
exactly. KeKe had an interview with Johnathan Majors, but the interview got pulled. Allegedly, from what I understand, a lot of people was going after KeKe about her interviewing Johnathan Majors because they feel like, hey, KeKe, you're a victim of DV. And because you're a victim of DV, why would you have someone on your show who's accused of DV? And I think I got the answer why. He has a new movie out. So when people have a new movie out, they do runs, they do press tours. I know
Right.
he's an
Yeah.
entertainer. And so KeKe probably brought him on the show to help promote his movie Magazine Dreams. I actually did a review on it. Check out my video on Magazine Dreams. So I'm thinking maybe she interviewed him to talk about his movie. And it's obviously with the movie, there are other questions and things that come about, but people really made it very difficult for her. And we're wondering, is that why the interview was pulled? What do you think, Ace?
Um, well, I think there's a couple. That was an interesting story because once again, there's a clip. I don't want to say once again, like
Yeah,
once
I saw
again.
this
I'm
one.
just saying
Mhm.
once again in the irony of clips that we hear. Let me
Right.
phrase it like that because there was an irony of the clip that we heard in the last with Ray J and Kai Cenat. It's the irony in the clip that we get in the sense of the clip that you hear, they're actually connecting. They're, in that particular portion of the interview, they're talking about time and they really connect on it. Like it's a genuine connection.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And so, you know, in that space, although who knows if we'll ever see it or not, but in that space, there was obviously those moments, right? I, judging from that, feel like that could have been the tenor of most of the interview. And in fact, now that I'm thinking at it, that's probably what the problem was, considering what his label is. right? If the interview was a little more contentious, and maybe if KeKe was a little more like maybe they talked about some hard subjects and
Mhm.
maybe it was very clear she didn't agree with certain things and there was a lot of points of conflict within the interview, I think they probably would have let that go because then it would have shown KeKe was it is no, I'm anti that. I don't feel that, hey, he's a good dude. Everybody deserves redemption, but I had to
Right.
address these things because these things were important to me. I don't get the feeling that that happened. I feel like it was more like the clip that we heard with them
Right.
connecting and with his with the labels being on him the way that it is,
Mm-hmm.
that you don't then want to be appearing like he's really charming and whatever. No allegations, yeah, that runs all day because then that's building the train that he had going at the time. That's why I be feeling bad for Johnathan Majors. I don't condone anything at all.
Right.
Nothing at all. Don't
Right.
get it twisted. You do wrong, you got to pay the price. That is what it is. But
Right.
it's just, it's unfortunate that you literally had the world in the palm of your hands and now you're getting interviews pulled because nobody wants to be associated with the charming side of you. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like they don't even want to be that's kind of what it is. Like when you have to be a hard time letting people in, like it's even like let's take and I'll keep this brief, but even like Will Smith, right? Everybody knows what happens. But look, the more you give him the more Will Smith is just now. I've always that was a disappointing situation to me because I'm a huge fan of both. You know, when
Right.
you're fans of like both people
Right.
and you love them both equally, I don't want to
Right.
take no sides. I want you to get
Exactly.
along. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
And like, I just want you to get along, like Will, Chris. And so I say that to say when you start to see him, Will is the joint. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Which is
Right.
why he starts getting played because he's the joint. He's a good. Will is that. He's part of
Yeah.
that. He brings it. And I'm saying it's authentic to Will, and he can reflect on it and still be Will, still be charming. And I say that with kudos, and I think Johnathan Majors probably possesses that similar quality,
Yeah.
right? Which is why KeKe reacted to him the way. By the way, KeKe, Johnathan, I'm sorry. I want to see the interview. If I got this wrong, it is what it is. But I'm on to something because I'm spitting facts.
Right.
If there was not that relation to him and his charm, then maybe it would have ran. But because I
Mhm.
feel like maybe it was more on the tenor of them really getting along and all having all this chemistry. Now we're this dude did all this and look at the light that they're painting him in. So they probably had to make that decision. I don't want to say had because you can always make a choice because a
Right.
part of it is you could have ran it anyway, you know.
Right.
But and I don't disagree with that one either. You could have been like, look, I'm running it. I don't condone or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I think that's why they pulled it. I think that's why it didn't run.
Well, if you talk about Ray J, I think we have to, especially in this time and day. I mean, obviously, no one knows why it was pulled, but you have to stand firm sometimes on the decisions you make.
For sure.
I mean, Chris Brown is just receiving awards. How long do people have to take the beating for them falling short, guys? Everybody in the world
Ooh,
falls
Lee,
short.
man, stop it.
And it's so easy to say, oh, they're doing this and they're
For
doing this.
sure.
Baby, if I open up your closet,
Man,
bones
that'd be
would
red.
fall out.
What did Ready Referee say? It'd be ravens flying up.
Bones would fall out, right?
Ravens.
So, I do not condone any man putting their hands
No, I don't.
a woman. I did see him aggressively, at the truck or whatever, but I also saw her foolish whatever running behind him too. Like, don't run behind somebody that's already been forceful, with you. So, everybody plays a part in a situation. However, nobody ever am I ever going to condone DV with everybody, but he went through his trial. His trial came out for what it is. And we gotta just let that sit there. And if there is more to Johnathan Majors that we don't know, we ain't gotta worry about it. What's in the dark will come out in the light. I hope
Yeah,
not, because he's
yeah.
married to Megan, and I hope them all the best. But you better believe if there's more to know, it'll eventually come out, because who a person is, they cannot hide it but for so long. And again, I'm not saying Johnathan is, I'm just saying if there is more to him and this is just a charade he's putting on, eventually it's going to come out. But I think we need to, I mean, y'all give the person who's over the world so many passes.
Oh my gosh.
But we can't give him a pass. I mean,
Oh,
how many things have they
wow.
made and done wrong, and we still give people passes, right? So, um,
Mic drop.
let's give people a little bit of grace. And I think there's a scripture about this. Before you point your finger at somebody, point two back at yourself. There's something about that. There's a scripture,
Mhm.
with that. And so I do want to see the interview. Obviously, KeKe and Johnathan, we're just talking based on what we know. But I'm like, KeKe, drop that interview. Drop it.
Yeah.
Don't let peer pressure scare you. Drop it and just stand on your sword. Good, bad, or indifferent. It is what it is. I did the interview with this thinking, and that is what it is. But yeah,
Yeah, I do. I stand on. I'm actually with that. Actually,
yeah.
that's what I is. Well, even if you decided not to air it, now that people know that you decided not to air it, because whatever,
Doesn't make it better.
either you wanted
Yeah,
people to know, or there's a leak in your camp. It
yeah,
can't be anything else,
yeah.
right? Either you wanted you to know, or there's a leak in your camp. Whatever. You decided not to air it. And now that you have and people are talking about it, you might as well just air it. That's
That
kind of
part.
how I feel
That
personally.
part. So, guys, it has been reported that Cassie will testify in the Diddy case. I'm happy. I know it's going to be traumatic for her, though, going over all of those things that actually happened. But I think it also will help some validity with all the other accusers. That's a part of that. But at the same token, there was a new lawsuit that was brought forth that added LeBron James, that he was walking around in his towel saying, who is this? It had Beyonce in there saying, who is this, Caucasian man with his what all out, which just doesn't sound like the Beyonce we know, but okay. I believe it also named Emilio Estefan, who I believe is married to Gloria Estefan. I don't know if they're still married, but I know back then they were. And basically, Jay-Z's, because Jay-Z don't play, his lawyer team has, and again, these things are allegedly, let's make sure these are allegedly, this lawsuit, these are allegedly things that happened. But the guy that filed this, he does state that he has medical records to show that his injuries are true. In fact, they did happen. And so is it true? I don't know. I hope his attorney did his due diligence, because Jay-Z's lawyer is saying that they were not in that area at that time. So here's the thing in my mind. Let's just say that they're there, right, guys? That doesn't mean that they saw what happened to this person. That's my they don't know. I can't say if it's true or not true. Somehow Jay-Z and Beyonce's name unfortunately just keeps coming up in these cases, and it's pretty unfortunate because I really feel sorry for the whole family overall, but really sorry for this victim too, if he does have medical records and Wheezy, and these things happen to him. That's pretty bad, because from what I understand, they were saying like he was a snitch or something like that. So, Cassie's going to be a part of that. Did you hear about that new
So
lawsuit?
yeah, so the Cassie part, to touch on that, you know, Cassie just has a heck of a story, man.
Yeah.
You know, you don't we just whatever we can say what we want, but Cassie she got a story, man. Uh here's what I'll say, because I won't accuse anybody of anything, because although we may feel certain things, you know, get innocent to prove it, whatever that process is. But
Right.
I will
Innocent
say
until proven
this:
guilty, true.
Cassie, out of most people walking, and I mean this respectively, because I'm really not trying to diss. I'm really just talking about the situation. I know there was a lot. Life happens the way it is. God is gonna pull you through, or whatever, right? Like what did he say? Our timing, all the kinds of things. There's all kinds of stuff that happen. We don't know. We just pray to God and hey, man, we trust you and all the things. She on that front, her just encountering Diddy and just him existing for her has just been very traumatic. You know what I'm saying? We'll just leave it at that. And that whenever you talk about him and you talk about her, whatever he's done, I don't know what he's done, but whatever it is that he's done, she's probably received
Well,
she's
we saw
up in
that video. We
she
definitely
just
saw
received
that
a lot.
video.
She just received a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then on the next part of it, watching a story, um, when it comes to so this to me seems very fabricated. The reason why is because there was just a lot of stuff, like you said. Look at Beyonce. Beyonce said that. There was a couple other things he said. Then there's fact checking because even the dude reported it said, I guess apparently on the date that it was supposed to have happened, Jay-Z, I don't know if was there or something like that. Like it doesn't like I think it's April 1st, 2015, and Jay-Z wasn't there. Then they said, then the whole thing about LeBron had a towel on and X, Y, and Z. Now this happened in Miami, right? I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
I
Okay,
think so.
LeBron played at home both before April 1st and April 2nd. He did play the Miami Heat, and the reporter did say, oh, but LeBron played for the Miami Heat, so he was in town, X, Y, and Z. He did play the Miami Heat, but they played in Cleveland. I'm assuming this incident didn't happen in Cleveland. And his game before that, because I even looked at the game before that to be, okay, maybe they did the NBA fans know they do like a back-to-back, like you'll play a team twice in like 2 days, maybe a home and away is what they call it. I'm tripping. A home and away. So you'll play a team at home, then you'll play the same team the next game away. Then I was thinking, okay, maybe he was in Miami, then went to Cleveland. Nope, he played like Minnesota or somebody. So he's been in Cleveland the whole time. So I just don't let. He could have dipped down to Miami for that one day and whatever the dude is saying, but I'm just saying there's a lot of holes in it. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So more to come on that. I'm sure everyone is going to be glued to their TV. I believe the case is coming up in May, if I'm not mistaken. So we will definitely be on it, guys, and we will report on it. Ace, give us a sport update.
So the big update. I just don't know what's going on. So Mike Malone, coach of the Nuggets, last 10 years, winning as coach in franchise history, brought Denver a championship. Now, doesn't mean everybody's perfect, don't mean everybody's above uh, you know, um, chastising or, punishment or reprieve or feedback or any of those kinds of things. But Mike Malone, he did bring you a championship, and every year he's been there, you've been extremely competitive. And yes, you did go on a 4-game losing streak, but you're still fourth in the West. In the wild, wild West, that's the gauntlet of the West. You're not playing that well, and you're still in fourth. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, and you're hosting a playoff series, and with Joker on the floor with these, you're always going to have a shot. So I was very, very surprised. The whole, sports community, especially the hoop community, we're like, that's been like, how many like WTF texts I got in the morning? Like, that's one literally. I woke up, first text I'd seen. Mike Malone, what WTF? And I'm like, yeah, because I understand. Obviously it appears him and Calvin Booth, who also got let go. I think it's a situation where, you in a classroom and these two people or whatever, and you got to send one to the principal's office. You know what? I'm sick of both of y'all. Both of y'all go. I'm sick of y'all fighting. Both
Right.
of y'all go. We ain't
Right.
choosing either one of y'all. Y'all both can go get your exit papers. You both can go get your final paycheck. Well, not final paycheck, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um, so because they still gonna get broke off. But I'm saying, like, y'all exit stage left, as we say. But it was 3 days before the playoffs start, and the playoffs are gonna be a battle and you have a shot. I just don't understand that one. Like you have a shot. I'm not saying, hey, look, obviously it appears Mike Malone, because Mike Malone, old school. I like Mike Malone. Mike Malone was with the Kings. Kings let him go. Everything that done happen with the Nuggets should be happening with the Kings. Mike Malone coached a team similar to what Denver has. They had Boogie. That was the only person that could keep Boogie in line. He loved Mike Malone. And at that time, regardless of all the personality things that Boogie had, Boogie was the best in the league at his position. And he was all he needed was somebody to just let him keep cooking. There was things he had to modify attitude wise, teamwork wise, all the things. There was a certain level of engagement you did have to keep him accountable for, but it was working for that time. Now I'm not saying it would work forever, but I'm saying look what happened when Mike Malone left. Where'd he go? He went to Denver. He's been there 10 years. They've been prominent every single year, and they won a championship in Denver. Sacramento, Denver. We in the same spot. Like, hey, man, a little more smaller market teams. What's happening? That's huge for Denver to win, for you guys to be that competitive. You got another shot in 7 days.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. I don't know, Denver. I don't know. I mean, they did beat us last night because we just don't be consistent. Denver did beat us, but still, I don't understand. So I'm going to be going into that more. I got a whole layout on my sports segment. I'm going to get all the way deep because there's all kinds of layers I can go. I'm going to go on that. But that's the big news as far as that, because I just don't. What he said, parents just don't understand. I just don't understand, man. And
Nice.
y'all know more than me. That's why y'all get paid. But I'm just saying, little peculiar. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on.
Woo, thank you. Sports with Ant Wild. So, guys, I don't know if you saw the interview with Keri Hilson. She finally spoke another side of the story about that very controversial song that she had made many years ago that had reference to Beyonce as well as Sierra. And after that song, she went on some radio stations like, yeah, I wrote it. It was kind of like it is what it is back then. But doing that, it pretty much blackballed her from the industry because you were talking about someone who was so big in the game, especially Sierra and Beyonce at that time. So fast forward now, where everybody's kind of speaking their truth. Cat Williams kind of kicked the ball, and everybody has followed. She basically stated that she never wanted to sing the verse at all. However, excuse me, the guy that was managing her and then also someone that he brought in, she felt very pressured. She was very young. She was crying, all the things. She had wrote a whole nother verse. And so she's really saying that basically she did it because her album would not be released. She was threatened with her album wouldn't be released if she did not do that part on the song. And then the girl who actually did write the lyrics, Esther Dean, came out and said, yeah, hey, I wrote it. And Keri co-written it. And then Keri went back and was like, let's get it right. You wrote that verse. So, stand on business. And I think Keri was also mad because she felt like, now you come forward. Why didn't you come forward before? Where my career has really we haven't heard anything from Keri, and Keri was really strong back in the day. Me and Ant used to bump Keri. We
Shit.
love
Hey, listen
Keri,
here. Don't get me
being in the
started. No,
Sacramento
hey, man.
area back in the
Woo.
day.
Keri Hilson, don't get me started.
Oh, I knew how he would act. So,
Woo. I like
it's
me some of that girl.
it's unfortunate, I think, for everybody. I'm sure Esther probably didn't come out because she probably was even scared back then, to come out and say things. But it's really sad that Keri was left out on her own to have to take the bad rap. It doesn't seem like anybody protected her at all in her image and her opportunities, at all. What do you think about that, Anwar?
First of all, let me just give a shout out, man. Lord have mercy. She knows. Keri, let me tell you something. You talk about somebody who has liked you for a clip. Don't get it twisted. Oh my God, Keri. Hey, still to this day, I looked at that interview and you know what I said? I said, damn, she's still bad as all outdoors.
Yes,
God, dog.
yes.
It's kind of one of them things. Like, it's one of them. It almost makes you mad. Like, damn, you still look like that for real? Like, what? She tall too. She like 5'9", big.
Yes.
Oh, let me get started on that brown skin girl. I just had to give you some love, Keri. If you ever watch it, I just wanted to give you some love.
She's amazing.
And on top of that, she is amazing, right? So it's one of those things like it's kind of like, it you feel you feel bad. It's one of those things. These are one of the things where you kind of look and you be like, okay, well, yes, it would have been great if certain things happened earlier, 1000%, right? Like it's one of those things. But it's like that is where being a little careful did kind of, and not saying she didn't. It's this is what I'm saying. It's the luck of the draw, like which is her situation is why you have to be careful, right? Because Keri is hey, listen, Keri, let's keep it a buck. Keri would be all the people we know, not saying we wouldn't know them, but like, the songs that we sing, because a lot of times when you get in that space, a lot of the hit makers write the songs.
Right.
So, you really just everybody's in the same collection, right? Like to the left, like Beyonce was like the fourth person like Neo presented that to. I think he presented to Janet first, a couple other people, then
Right.
Beyonce, then she loved. So, when you're in that pool, a lot of these songs Keri Hilson would be singing because she would be in that elite pool as far as
Right.
name and recognition. Now, imagine Keri Hilson, and don't get it twisted, Beyonce, everybody killed it, but I'm saying, imagine Keri Hilson getting some of them songs, right? On top of the fact that she writes, she's a phenomenal writer.
Yeah,
So
she's
it's
a writer
like,
too.
yeah, like, and actually, she's more of that artist. So let her tell that story. She's actually more, you know, um, self-contained than that, right?
Right.
She's more so she can really just give me some good producers, a good team. I'll
Yeah.
write these slaps and we'll get it bubbulating. And to have her stalled, and then so it's funny. The funny thing is your album will never come out, right? Your career will be all the things. And I can feel her when she's saying, but I did stand on it. I was crying and everything. But at the end of the day, I should have fought harder. And the reason why I feel she's saying that is because it happened anyway. So I might as well just stood on it and said no and then waited out my, or whatever. I
Yeah.
got black. Everybody left me hanging anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody was gone. The heat got hot. Beyonce and Jay were
Yeah.
really, really coming into that bubble at that time. People got to keep the context of time. And a lot of times when we revisit these subjects, like a lot of times we look at it like we're looking at it today, like we understand what happened. So yeah, you should have never did that. It's like, yeah, how did you know? Everything's happening for the first time at that time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
so as Beyonce and Jay are bubbling, of course, Timberland has that relationship with Dave Polo the Don, who I actually love. It. Polo the Don be making slaps actually.
Right.
Like, hey, I F's with Polo the Don as a producer. Like,
Right.
he be making slaps. Like, he makes some slappers.
Right.
And so you have these two titans, right? In that area, you're from that. She's from Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Polo the Don's from Atlanta. Timberland's from Virginia. You're in that era. It's a whole new, that's a okay. Why wouldn't you think you're winning when you sign a contract with Polo the Don and Timberland? And
Right.
then I'm not blaming nobody. I'm just saying at the end of the day, this happened, right? Through whatever. And that's just unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it ain't a slap on nobody, but that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Because you did, it got leaked, then you were the one and everybody else went off and, made millions. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Well, what I will say, I can speak from experience, guys. I was definitely, Aunt Wow knows, and we spoke a little bit about it. I was definitely in compromising positions in the industry. Um, and I did say no,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Yeah.
and it's been a hard path fighting to be able to do things when you say no,
Yeah.
because people make you seem like you're difficult. It's not that you're difficult, you're just not going to compromise who you are as a person, you know and if I sleep with somebody, it is simply because I wanted to sleep with them. I don't want to sleep with somebody because I'm forced to sleep with them,
Yeah.
and or I'm forced to do certain things. And unfortunately, when you say no in the industry, people don't want to deal with you. But I
Yeah.
wasn't willing to sell my soul, not for anybody, especially if it was an artist that I liked. And I'm not judging Keri at any point. There's no way I would have done that because I like Beyonce too much. Back then, I really loved Janet Jackson. There is
Yeah.
nothing you could have gotten me um, to say. And if I did do it, when I would have went to that radio station, I was like, yeah, they told me to do that bullshit. I'd be like, I don't give a damn. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh, yeah. Or
I
that.
love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
You.
Beyonce. We just did this to start some mess with you guys, you
I
know,
didn't
and
want to do it. Like once they.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. But
No,
yeah.
no, no, you're good. So, it's it is easier said than done. I knew that doors would have been shut. I knew people would know Lisa is not easy to get in bed. I knew those things would stand against me. But here it is, guys. You know what I'm saying? 15, 20 years later, and I'm doing my own show. I didn't have to sell my soul.
Mm,
15 something years later, guys, I performed with the Harlem Globetrotters. It wasn't because I sold my soul, it was just based on my talent.
yeah.
15, 20 years later, guys, I'm performing at the Lincoln Theater, not because I slept with somebody, because I have talent.
Right.
So if something is meant for you, always trust your gut. Always trust your gut. Try to walk in integrity, and if you do make a decision, make sure it's something that you want to do, because if it, like I said, if sleeping with somebody is something you want to do, then don't feel bad about that if that's something you want to do.
True.
But never let anybody compromise your ethics or your integrity and take it from somebody who's had to go through that, and I've had to fight my way to the top, and that's okay. It's not always the easy way. It's not. But a lot of people know my name.
Right.
They don't know my name for that reason. They know my name about around talent. And that's what it should be about. It shouldn't be about anything else but really talent. Is this person talented enough to do something? And also, guys, I don't know if you guys know, I just got booked in a new show.
Yeah.
It's called Broken.
Word up. Word up.
It will be May the 17th. We are doing some things behind the scene. We had our first reading last night. There's some things taking place behind the scenes, so I will get ticket information out to those people that are in the DMV area. And I just want to say a shout out to my boy Aunt Wow, because every time I have an audition, he's reading with me, him, or either my best friend Cheryl or my mom. They're always helping me with these readings, and I always wanted to book something before the first quarter. That's always a goal for me, because that's the time where it's kind of pilot seasons for actors.
Mm-hmm.
Any actors that's watching, that's like our busy season where we grind on auditions. And so I always have a personal goal to book something in the first quarter, and I booked it right as like I
Right
think
at the
March
end.
27th or 26th. But again, if something's for you, it's for you. And I really love this part, guys. It is something very different in my personality that you guys will see. And I like that because the role really challenges me. And I had to read like 3 different readings, and it was my third one that I landed that spot. So when you have talent, people will have you to read for different stuffs until they find out a part that kind of fits your personality. And even though this part is a little different for me, it fits me. I can
Mm,
pull through, and
mm,
I can definitely do it. So
mm.
I'm
Yes.
excited for that. So
Yes.
Keri spoke her truth. God bless her for that.
Woo! Lord, that woman right there, boy. Hey, Keri. Hey, man, let me just, we gonna end it on this and move on. But baby, hey, listen, look at me now, look at me. Hey, keep on the good fight. I'm trying to get across to you. Keep it rolling now. Woo!
Keri, we
Good
wish you all the
Lord,
best, sweetheart.
Lord, 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 ooh, 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 la, la,
Anyway.
la,
Lord,
la, la, la,
Lord,
woo, woo, woo,
Lord,
woo.
Lord, Lord. All right,
Yeah,
here we go, guys. I had to take it up a notch. Terrance Howard, okay?
I had to take it up
He
a notch.
said,
You
Diddy,
see
you're
that?
not gonna smash me today, yeah. I say,
Mm-mm.
Diddy, I am a man of man. I am
Hmm.
the alpha man.
Mm,
Okay, what
mm,
I'm saying? You
mm,
will not touch my good deeds.
mm, mm,
I say,
mm,
you will not
mm.
touch my goodies, lock the door and give me 40,000. Lock the door and give me 40,000. No, so listen, guys. Terrance Howard had an interview and he talked about how Diddy, one of his friends told him that Diddy wanted to kind of, smash him. And he was basically saying, from what I gathered, and Wow would be able to speak from a male's perspective, but what I kind of gathered from Terrance was basically just saying that if you choose to go that route, that's not the man route. You know what I mean? Like, if you choose to go that route, like that's not a man. You know what I mean? If you choose, and I think he talked about wearing dresses too, as well, right? In that he talked about the wearing dresses too as well. He really just stand on business. There's certain things you shouldn't do as a man. And he said, and once he knew what Diddy was trying to do, he backed away from that. He wanted nothing to do with that at all because he's a man and he stands 10 toes down as a man on business with that.
Yeah, and yeah, that's absolutely what he said. And to give a little more context to that, that's not saying there's not anything wrong with being any way.
Right.
Right? That doesn't mean that at all. Like,
right.
It doesn't mean, and I'm putting my spin on this. I'm assuming Terrance was kind of conveying this, but this is what I'm taking from it because this is how I would relate to it. Like, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with being however you are, right? But if you are somebody who looks at yourself this way as a man's man, all the things that he was describing, that is not the route. And you're going to wrestle with that. So that's why when certain names came up like Bieber, because the dude said, yeah, like Bieber. And he was like, yeah. And you see, he's wrestling with that because he's not that's not where he wants to be. See what I'm saying? Now, if that's where you want to be and or you're okay with going that route and it doesn't, maybe you're more willing to jive with that than other people. I think that's kind of Terrance's point. If you're willing to jive with that, then you're willing to jive with that. But those that aren't willing to jive with that, don't do that because it's not worth what you're going to have to wrestle with internally as a result of it. It doesn't matter how successful you get after that. It's really not worth it, right? There's the best thing you can do is protect that inner guardian, right? A lot of people call it the inner child. That's a pretty good word for it. You got to guard that thing. You got me ready to start cussing when it comes to that. You got to guard that thing. And if that is how you see yourself and you don't want to be involved in that, then don't do that. Because just know when you do that, it's going to happen. And it's very likely you could have a fallout that's not worth the prize you get.
Yeah.
So that's what I was taking from what he was saying. Like, yo, if you do that, do that. But if you ain't down for that, right? We can dumb it down. Hey, man, you can go play basketball at the beach, but just know the competition. If you're going to look to play against the real competition, it might not be at this particular beach. You might need to go to another beach. You know what I'm saying? You might want to go to Venice Beach. If you go to, whatever beach, it might not be like Venice Beach. Don't mean you can't go. There's nothing wrong with going over there to play, but just know you ain't getting, and then you're going to be mad if you go over there and you don't get that, right? You're going to be mad, and then you're going to be upset. Or, we can take it to that. It's the same thing. The stakes are just higher now.
Yeah.
Because now the damage is to you. If you go to the wrong basketball court, the damage is to that day. Guess what? When tomorrow arrives, that day is gone. That incident that changes you never leaves. Because no matter what, it happened.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be dealing with that, then you don't need to be going down that road.
Yeah.
And that was the gold. That's based on Terrance leading that, I'm going to step in and say that's my addition to that. That's my version of breaking it down to a way to where you look at yourself and say, boom, and this is male and females, but we're talking about males right now.
Yeah.
But if you ain't with that, just like Lisa said, hey man, I wasn't with that. I said no. Hey, listen, we talked about it the week or week before. I had to go. I had to go with her one time. Dude had a whole nother agenda until he saw, till he realized I was there. It took him like 10 minutes to answer because he had to change the whole scene.
Yeah.
He had a whole nother
I
scene
appreciate
going
it.
on.
Yeah, you, Bugsy, many of my friends, Leslie, just a lot of these male friends surrounded me and protected me, and I'm so thankful. They're my friends to this day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I have a
yeah,
lot of male friends only because they were there to protect me.
yeah.
Every man is not out wanting to sleep with you, Bugsy has been, I mean, our producer for many, many years, has never, ever, ever once talked to me, not even slightly in that way. And we've done
Hmm.
too many songs to name. So just know that every producers are not on that.
Right.
I know people want to make you think that they all are. They all are not. There's
Exactly.
some
And
good
and
ones out
and and to drive that home, be do know that those producers may come in a you might have to open your eyes and see who those producers are because they may not come in the flash or whatever that is you think. There's different ones. And even in that realm, it doesn't mean that they aren't. But somewhere we might have to teach them better. I'm talking about those younger
there.
to things to look for because again, if you want to go down that route and you're okay, because some people are okay with it. Let's
Right,
just keep it a buck.
right,
Like, some people are okay with it.
right.
And there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Yeah,
That's not something I could do because I relate to Terrance. That's just not my thing. Hey,
right.
that's your thing. Hey, man, dude, hey, I'm not, who am I? What right do I have on
Yeah,
its purest level? Now we start getting on some other stuff that's whatever, but at its purest level, what right do I have to judge whatever decision whatever brought you to this point? Hey man, hey, listen, I'm gonna try unless you become off and be an a-hole or something, then I might have to be all right, man, step that way. But for the most part, man, you do you, I do whatever. That's for everybody. So I
yeah,
ain't tripping. But
right.
if you don't want that, then don't do that. And
Absolutely.
that's that.
Absolutely, guys. I wanted to just talk about super cleanse. Nature's Secret Super Cleanse. So let me tell you guys, a TMI moment, and I will be posting it. I had a colonoscopy. You hit that 48,
Dang.
you got to have it done. Okay? They gotta clean the root of a toot,
Oh,
toot, 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 toot.
oh,
And I'm gonna tell you
oh.
guys, before I got that done, I was already using Nature's Secret Super Cleanse. This is the herb total body cleanse. It stimulate and cleanse the choline. It's extra strength, but gentle on your system, and it's 14 herbs and probiotic support. What I will tell you, if you take two, you might have a little stomach pain. So
Ooh-wee.
make sure you do the dose based on you. One is enough for me. Because when I take two, it's not a bad pain, but I feel a little something and I don't want to mess around with that. But whenever you do a colonoscopy, you have to go through this whole cleaning mechanism. I was in Paris, y'all, doing my daggone thing. I'm gonna tell you, I was not perfect, but what I was taking is these. Okay. And because I was taking these, I didn't have much to do by the time I had to go and drink that nasty stuff. So this is a really good cleanse. We are going into the second quarter. Right now I know a lot of people did cleansing in January, but Nature's Secret, this one is a pretty good one. Like I said, you just got to kind of monitor how many you need, because for me two was too much. I only took one, and that was just more than enough for me. So yeah, get that. All right, guys, let's go on to Michelle. So Michelle. Um, Basically, Michelle is living her best life right now. So y'all haven't seen her at events, at different funerals and different big events. And you saw our XP at different events by himself, looking lonely, having dinner with the girls, and Mama said, "I'm just living my best life." She lost her mother, and because Michelle lost her mother, her and her brother kind of looked at each other and said, "We really don't know what tomorrow brings." So because of that, we have to do the things that we've always desired to do. So her and her brother, I believe they started a podcast. I think that's where she actually spoke on it. They started a podcast. And she's just been to herself doing things. However, it doesn't mean, and she said it, these are ridiculous. Like, I can't even do certain things without people thinking I'm divorcing my husband. It's pretty much she's saying that's far from the truth. And it's sad because I honestly think, and while some people want that to happen,
Oh
I
yeah,
really think that some people want that to
yeah,
happen. And she
yeah,
put it to rest that basically, she's had to live so much in the shadow of her husband going for this. And he's always had leadership type of positions. And she's had to live in the shadow and be there for the kids. And so now she's out there just doing some of her things, and he has to respect that because, she supported him. Now he has to support her from afar, while she not from afar, but traveling, doing certain things. He has to respect her, living her own best life too. So
yeah.
they're not getting a divorce, and I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, because again, we talked about it before. Like, what would I gain wanting to see them get divorced? Like, what am I going to gain? Am I going to go get at Michelle? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I, not want that, right? And it's, uh, the time thing I relate to, like, hey, look, it's real. Hey, man, hey, listen,
Yeah.
it's a real thing. It's going by. It's on overdrive. Um, I always tell everybody once you hit 21, it starts to take a roll, and then the more milestones, the faster it starts rolling. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that, right?
Yeah.
And so in that, and it's kind of a note to just pay attention to, depending on your relationship. But we always try and pay attention to that, the best way we can. Um, Me and Neva try and do a good job at that. Like of um yes, the time together is definitely important. Um there's no but. Like it is I've told Lisa like, hey, look, this weekend I'm doing I ain't I won't be available. You know what I'm saying? Like we just gotta,
Right.
it's been so much going on, all the busy
Right.
X, Y, and Z. Like,
Right.
yeah, hey, look, yeah, this weekend ain't nothing. We gonna get up, we gonna be in our draws, you know what I mean? We gonna be watching movies, we gonna be, making dinner and
Right.
just all the things, like, cause you need that recharge.
Right.
Um, so it just with one another, you got to keep that connection. It's very important, but it's also very important to be able to spread your wings a bit, you
Yeah.
know. And a lot of times that journey and spreading the wings does require you to move separately.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm.
doesn't mean uh not together. It
Right.
just means we're in separate places right now,
Right.
strengthening our together.
Absolutely.
Because by her fulfilling that is why they will stay together.
That's so
If
true.
she wasn't able to do that, they wouldn't stay together. See what I'm saying? Like, and I think a lot of times in the couples thing, we got to redo another one of those or find a way to release the one we did because that was good chat. That was,
Right.
as my overseas mates say, that was good chat. Um, but it's just important to that's an important balance, especially if you're in touch with it. Now, a lot of people aren't really in touch with it, and even if they are, they think they're wrong for thinking that way, and so they just don't do it. I'm not that person. I couldn't be that person. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I mean, that's just not part of my natural DNA. Like, but I extend that to you. Like, fly away.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're gonna go together. Fly
Right.
away.
Right.
You ain't, you're not going anywhere. You're
Abs-
just flying away, and then you bringing back the goods. And
Absolutely.
then after you bring back certain goods, and after I bring back certain goods, if we decide we like this nest, but I saw a nest over here that might suit us a little better, based on the goods we're bringing back in here, then we'll go to that nest. And then we'll go around and bring back to that nest. And then when we're in that nest, we continue to build that nest. It's strong. See, it's fertilized. See,
Bird.
it's compassion in there. There's feelings, there's love. See, and there's all these ingredients and nutrients. We keep the nest fertile.
They just some
Then
birds.
we got to go out and bring and gather and be our best selves and all the things, and we bring back, you know.
I agree.
So I think that's just important for us to keep in mind, because if you are people who recognize that, it's very important to act on that, because it makes a world of difference for
Yeah.
sure.
It does. And I think you really hit on something. I think it really comes down to this word. And you're right, we do gotta drop that relationship video. If you have trust, trust, you wouldn't worry about those things. You really wouldn't. If you trust, and I'm talking from someone who's a flight attendant, dating someone who has a crazy schedule in the hospital, and then he does work at the school. We both have long days. Um, just gotta trust. And if
Well,
you trust the person, you want the person to be them best selves, and whatever that looks like for them. As much as our time is very limited because of our schedule, we find a way to make it work. And when we do have time together, we try to cherish that time because we know that our schedules are busy. But when you have trust in your relationship, it's a non-mother freaking factor, to be very honest.
yeah,
It's a non
yeah.
it's a non-factor. So I think we can learn from Michelle, that independence is healthy for a relationship, and that's what I gather from what Aunt Wow was actually.
Yeah, yeah, that's just important. There's your life, there's her life, and then
Yeah,
there's your together life. That
yeah,
This is what I'll say. It's my life, your life, our life,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And our life is very much to do. You're very about, like I said, just like with you and Julian. He knows about your life. He knows all the things. You know all of his things. But
yeah.
we're doing this, and then when we're here, we're, oh yes, yes, and then, hey, okay, it's gonna time for you.
Do our
Maybe
thing.
I'm still here and you got to go, or I got to go. Maybe we both got to be gone, but we and the trust is even the fidelity part of it is not even, when I say trust, I'm not even talking about that, because if we ain't got that, we ain't doing it. That's just
Right.
simple. So like certain things, I ain't got to drive home. If every time you out of my sight, I think you sitting, or whatever, I'm just gonna get explicit. I was. If every time out there you outside of my sights, you over here chasing poles. If I'm worried about that, we just ain't gonna be together like
Not
that.
gonna be
That's
able
We
to.
ain't got to talk further. So the trust is now in the time spent when uh in with intention, right? And so if you're away and you're intentional, and then they understand, they're more in tune with it,
Yeah,
right? It's there's the connection remains strong. See
yeah.
what I'm saying? So that in that, you continue to just mold from that, and everybody, ain't nobody gonna be perfect. There's gonna be conversations, all those kinds of things. But because I'm sure there was a lot of tough conversations
That they had to have.
that they had to have for her to make this path. See,
Absolutely.
so um, they wouldn't be together if she wasn't able to do it, and
Period.
that they wouldn't. It
They
wouldn't
had an
work
understanding. Yeah,
for
whether
sure.
you liked it or not, they had an understanding. So you talked about Justin Bieber a little bit earlier. I don't know if you guys saw the footage. Justin was going into a coffee shop and reporters were chick, 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 click, 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 and Justin started saying, "Oh, you guys want is, you're doing this for money. You're doing this for money." He kept going around, "You're doing this for money." And it just seemed like he understands that this comes with who he is. But I think everybody is human where you just have a breaking point. He's at Coachella, Palm Springs. He just wanted to go in and get an espresso with 2% low fat milk, a little bit of whipped cream on it. And y'all wouldn't even let the boy, I'm joking about the drink, but y'all wouldn't let him go in. and just have his drink. And he just looked like, he just didn't want to be bothered with it. And I felt bad because I can tell you when I was with the Harlem Globetrotters, it did get a little scary for me at times. It did get a little overwhelming. I was in a Lyft car one time and the guy was like, "Hey, are you grandmama?" I'm thinking, yeah, that's me. I did my voice. I changed my voice. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
but don't try to take me to your
yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah,
I became
yeah.
that. And, it took my mother, like, you are living a dream for so many people, but it gets to be overwhelming at times. And I'm glad that my mother just had to remind me to just ground myself, know that I'm okay. It's just people are happy for you and you're living a dream for everybody. And so, Justin, I just felt, I know a lot of people have been bringing him up lately, ties to Usher, how he's, breaking off ties. And I don't know if that's true, allegedly. We don't know what happened to him, back in the day. I just hope that he's okay. I really hope that he is okay. The paparazzi is doing what the paparazzi do. They're going to get the shot, and whoever can get the shot, you're right, they are going to get money for it, but that's their job, right? And everybody has different jobs that they actually do. And we also know, being in this industry, sometimes that does come with the job, but it just seemed like he just was having a human moment where he just didn't want to be bothered. And
Yeah,
I understand that.
yeah, I do too. I really do. That's a tough,
It comes
because
with the territory.
because I'm the type of person, I'm not saying I'll be outside like at every event, but I'm a type of I've always said, like, even talking back in the
Like
day, like, if I
Rihanna, you would be all up in it. You remind me of Rihanna with that.
what
Like,
I would, yeah, what I would, well, I'm just saying, like, with Justin Bieber, he's on some, like, dude, I'm just over here trying to get my vanilla latte with 2% milk. Whoop, 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 whoop. Like,
right,
I ain't even
right,
really doing nothing. Like, I understand you getting the money from it, but I ain't really doing nothing, but they're doing the job and it does come with it. And I understand, especially being as big as he is. Like, I mean, you're one of the biggest names in the world.
right.
Um, but I do also understand the the need to just move normally.
Mm,
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people don't do move normally that's in those positions.
yeah,
I would want to still move normally. I would want to be able to go over here, saying, to Coffee Bean. Hey, listen, if anybody from Coffee Bean, I'll do a sponsorship for that. You know what I'm saying? We get
right.
Coffee Bean, Trader Joe's. I go to the Trader Joe's, give me the little mixed nuts, the trail mix. Hey, listen,
Yeah,
I'll start sponsor plugging as well. Hey,
yeah,
listen, let's get it cracking. But I'm saying I would want to be able to go. I want to walk into Trader Joe's and go on and get my,
yeah,
my trail mix, and what I'm saying, whatever little Trader Joe's things I get. I want to be able to go to the,
right.
Coffee Bean and get my, what I'm saying, my ice blended drink and all those kinds of things. Like, I don't want to. I get that. That's the human part I can relate to, because I don't want it to be no big deal though. If I
Right.
go to the gas station, whatever, whatever. The reality of it is, it's whoever you run into, they may never run into you again. Right? Like, or the paparazzi, who, that's a heck of a job. I don't think I'd be down for that. Like, you really chasing shots. Like, it's a whole grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't just show up like, okay, he frequents this spot. There's a lot of intel to why you show up, you get the spot, you sell a paparazzi, whatever. We saw it on TMZ. They got broke
Yeah.
off for that, but I do think what Justin is saying, like, this hustle isn't ethically where it's at. I understand it's legal, but this isn't ethically where it's at, because all y'all do is care about the money. You don't care about the people.
Mm,
And I can understand his sentiment in that.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I can. I
Yeah,
can.
absolutely. Guys, we want to leave you with something to think about. Just a little inspirational quote, which says, the only sure way to avoid making mistakes is to have no new ideas.
Woo, thank you, Albert.
And
Mm,
so a lot of times, especially with
woo,
content creators or people that are thinking about it, sometimes
man.
we don't do things out of fear, and you only get one life. You only get one life. And you guys have seen, if you guys have watched Another Mother, you've seen Anthony and I definitely make mistakes, but that's where innovation comes in. That's how you learn, um, by making errors. I'll tell you, we recorded our intro several times, and while I was like, leave it, leave it. I was like, we're not gonna do that.
Shoot, we
We
should have
not
left
gonna
it.
do that, you
We should
know?
have left it.
And so the only way you make mistakes is when you have new ideas and new creative things that you're
No new
doing. So
ideas.
allow no new ideas.
I
So
just wanted to.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. So please don't be afraid to fall, not fail, fall.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
Failing is never doing anything, and that's what he's saying, have no ideas. But when you fall, falling is just a part of the process of you being innovative,
Yep.
right? I had made a hiring choice, and even one of my girlfriends told me she had made a hiring choice. Both of the people we chose were not good fits. It doesn't mean they were bad people.
Right.
No, but sometimes people present one thing and then they happen to do something different than you expected. And so you have to make different decisions. We didn't fail, it was just a fall. So now
Yeah.
we got to take two steps back. We got to re-interview people and we have to do the process all over again. But still, we're being innovative. We're still going forward and we're trying things. So be okay with falling. Falling doesn't mean that you fail. What do you have to say to that, Aunt Rob?
I keep on falling. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That just hit home.
Yeah,
That just hit home. The only sure way to avoid making mistakes is to have no new ideas. And it speaks for itself. Like if you're not constantly tapping in, because it's really about tapping in. And when I'm saying tapping in, is tapping into that frequency within yourself.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it takes discipline, again, like I mentioned earlier, the inner child, whatever you want to call that thing. You know what I'm saying? It takes discipline to continue to um, stay connected to that person. But it's so important. Man, I almost got teary out on that. It's so
no,
important,
it
bro.
is.
It's so important. It really is because you know, talking about the Michelle thing and the time. And you kind of look at when you get to a certain place in life, you just kind of look back and you be like, you know, dang, that decision affected this. Like, because it's one or two decisions. You're really one or two decisions from a whole different trajectory.
Yeah,
And every single part of that trajectory is your fault. Every single part of it. We allow, for the most part, obviously there are things that are out of our control, but for the most part, we allow whatever it is that happened. Me and Lisa talk. Lisa, I would tell her for years. I was like, the company we used to work for. I said I worked there for almost 8 years. I should have never worked there that long. Now it's easy because, and I stand by that. I do. I 1000%.
yeah.
I remember running into because I'm gonna shout her out because she's the perfect example of this, and I'm gonna shout her out. Danielle Monet Truitt. Me and Danielle were in the America play together at Sac State. Okay. That was our first plays. I think she did play in high school, but that was my first play. And that was her first play in college. You know what I'm saying? And sayings like this remind me of these situations. So that was her first play in college. We did our thing. There used to be this, like, I think there might still be like this Ryan Award that they offer, like in California. It's a prestigious like acting award, and all
Mhm.
three of us, me, her, and Alonzo, got nominated for it. Right? And all three of us. There's three. We were the three main players in the play, and Danielle. Now, in that time after the play, I did go do. We were doing music hard. Like I was, like we did go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like you look back on certain things and decisions you probably could have did better, but we did go for it. When that stopped happening, focused more on acting. So that's when I went back into that. And in that moment, a lot of stuff was starting to happen. I was missing a lot of audition, but I was coming down. That's when I was coming down to SoCal. That's what started my journey of moving down here. Not even for the glitz and glam, but I realized I liked the water because I was coming down here so much for auditions and all that. And I ran into her right shortly after we started at our job. I never forget. It was Dougie Fresh concert downtown Harlow's, and I had been on the job for like 3 weeks, and I went on an audition in Reno after one of my things. You remember that? I had to drive out to Reno to go to the
Yep.
audition and all that, and I got called for the callback, and it was like a big, mind you, I had just missed out on a huge film right before this. So I'm
Hmm.
telling you where the trajectory was going. I was already going there. And I went to this big thing. I went and it was a callback. It was like a big infomercial, but that part was connected to an actual, it was a whole thing where it was going to possibly take you if you're one of the people who got chosen,
Right.
right? And I remember on the callback, I didn't make it because I had just started and I didn't want to risk. I had to rearrange to even be able to go to the first one in Reno. So then I would have had to rearrange again to go, to the second one. And I didn't because I didn't want to miss the training session and I didn't want to get disciplinary or just fired when I just started the job. See, that's that old school mentality, right? And so I didn't go. And I remember I ran into Danielle at Harlow shortly after that. And she said, she was asking me, like, hey, man, I'm hearing you
Harlow.
out here.
Let them know what Harlow is. So they.
Harlow's is a spot that it's in downtown Sacramento. I will perform it. That's the one spot in Sac just because of its nostalgia that I'm going to perform there no matter what. Before I check it, that's just on my bucket list. It's a perfect. It's a personal thing, but it's downtown Sacramento. All kinds of groups go there. It's a good spot. Like it's not like a big concert hall, but holds about 600-700 people. Like Wapale goes there a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've seen Slum Village there. I've opened for Slum Village down here while you're playing.
Right.
So I remember I ran into her at Harlow's at the Dougie Fresh thing. I don't even know if she remembers this. Like if she ever Danielle, if you ever watched this, because I still holler at her every now and again. Um, and she's doing enormous things. She just got picked up for a Tyler Perry movie, and this is my point. We were talking, and she said she was asking me, "Oh yeah, I'm hearing you doing all these things, woo, woo, woo." Like, and I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I heard about something," because when you're still in that mode, the word travels in that community. You know how it goes. So
Yeah.
I'm hearing you out here doing a couple things, and I was like, "Yeah, I had this big thing." I said, "But I didn't go back because it clashed with my training session." And she sat there and she looked at me. I mean, in the disgust in her face. It was so much disgust.
Yeah.
So warranted, so deserving. I deserved every single thing she gave me.
Yeah.
And she said, you mean to tell me that you missed out on a big opportunity with something you love for a punk A company we used to work for? Like for real? Like like, and it was almost on some like, almost, there's all the love in the world. We still got all the love between each other, even to this day. I just saw her not too long ago in a play she did down here. But in that moment, it was like, how your mama just turned her head like, boy, bye. Like, I'm just so disgusted with you right now. It
Yeah.
was one of them things. It was kind of like, I I can't even believe we ain't got nothing to talk about right now. You go over there for a second type thing. And it stayed with me. I've told Lisa this story for years. And if I could do that again, because it's not, I wouldn't have missed it, the opportunity, right? I wouldn't have missed it. But if I could do that, or even if I could do, I wouldn't have missed the opportunity if I could do it again. But say I still missed the opportunity.
Yeah.
Based on what Danielle said, if I could do it again, I would have walked tomorrow into where we used to work and I would have quit. I've been telling Lisa this for 20 years. I stand by it to this day. I
Yeah.
would have walked in and quit then because I was on the path.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was where the new ideas, that's the frequency you need to stay tapped into.
You really do.
Because it will, if you are righteous about this, there is a path. We are examples of that. I just mentioned Danielle. She's a perfect example of that. She just got filmed for a Tyler Perry movie. She just coming off of CSI and all kind of stuff. And Danielle is squeaky clean. She didn't do none of that.
Yeah.
Black girl didn't do any of that.
Nope.
So there is a path. We just got to be intuitive. And Keri said herself to give her some love to shut because I'm always gonna give her love anytime I
Right.
can. That whole
Right. Right.
beautiful thing. But she did say, I there was a quote I believe she said that was associated with I went against my intuition. I shouldn't have went against my intuition, which is why she was saying I should have fought harder because that is where the guide is. That's why we have to stay tapped into it.
Yeah, because a lot of times, guys, we go against our intuition thinking that someone knows better for you other than you.
Man, stop.
Better for you other than you. Now, when you're a kid and your parents are leading you, we get that. But when you're grown, you have to trust your gut on situations, you know. And I would tell anybody that don't wait for opportunities, create your own opportunities. Because you could be waiting forever, you know, but there are, especially with social media, there is always opportunities to create your opportunities for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it, you know, telling you from a person that wrote a show. This is my second show I've written. The other one was on a smaller scale. This is on a bigger scale. Sometimes you have to create opportunities for yourself and trust your gut with that too, as well. If you're thinking about writing, you know, a book, there's many people that are afraid to write a book. Do it.
Right.
Do
Right.
it. You know,
Right.
trust your gut that if there's something you want to do,
Excuse
speak
me.
that. Ooh, Lord, have
Lord, sorry.
mercy. You
Bless me.
need a burger
Ladies,
or
ladies,
something? Good
ladies, I apologize. Fellas, deal with it. But ladies, I am sorry.
I mean, somebody probably need a
Woo,
colonoscopy.
Lord,
But
have mercy.
yeah,
Woo.
if there's something you want to do, guys, just do it. You know, it was very cliche with Michael Jordan in the shoe, but it's really true. You just got to get out there and you just have to do it. And it may feel scary at times and it may feel uncomfortable, but that will pass the more you get out there and you actually do it, guys. So anyway, we want to thank you for watching Another Mother. Don't forget to like and subscribe and drop a comment and talk to us and let us know. Don't forget
Word.
our new single Coffee Tea or Me
Boom.
is
God.
streaming right now. Pick that up. And then also if you're in the Las Vegas area, come to our show and see Buckle Your Seatbelts. And if you're
July
in the
26th.
July 26th, 8 p.m. sharp. And if you won't be in the area, you can always do a watch party, live stream. Let us know about your live stream, and maybe we can join y'all after the show in y'all live stream, guys. So we will see you same time, 9 a.m. on Fridays every morning. Bye, y'all. Bye.